Handball was introduced in the United States in the early 1800s. In 1919, the Amateur Athletic Union sponsored the first national tournament. And as the game started picking up popularity, courts began to appear not only outdoors, but in YMCAs, at private clubs, recreation centers, colleges, and universities. Players learned their craft on 1-, 3-, and 4-wall courts, and as the years passed, a few great names began to dominate the game and win successive tournaments. These players combined talent with a fierce competitive spirit. They were called champions. Welcome to the Hall of Fame Handball Champions video. Hi there, this is Art Linkletter, sitting courtside with fellow handballer Ed O'Neill.
Hi Art, nice to be here. In 1951, when the United States Handball Association became the national organization for handball, it initiated inductions into the Hall of Fame. Only 26 players hold the exalted title of member. Now this video brings you 19 Hall of Famers who brought new and decisive elements to the personality of the game. So sit back and share with us the thrill of championship play.
Our video begins with the 1952 USHA Nationals at the Detroit YMCA. Here in the semifinals, defending champion Walter Plekan from Buffalo takes on the 1950 champion Ken Schneider of Chicago.
Now, first thing we notice, Art, is the defensive nature of their offhand. But as you watch Kenny bury a right hand kill off the back wall, you realize their strong arms were as deadly as our players of today. This was a grudge match, and in the finals of the 1950 Nationals in Chicago, Plekan used his sharp breaking hooks to spell the difference in a narrow, hard-fought victory over Schneider. Ken's strength was his speed and his court coverage. Now watch as his uncanny anticipation places him in perfect position to hit a level sidearm kill.
"1951 heralded in the era of the USHA. The first president, Bob Kendler, gave new life to handball and was its chief benefactor. As you know, Ed, the 51-52 tournaments marked the transition of handball leadership from the AAU to the USHA. The AAU attempted to hold competitive tournaments, but could only manage to draw a small proportion of the players. But back to the play. Here at the end of the match, Ken Schneider prevails and advances to the finals.
The other semifinals pitted the legendary Brooklyn fireman Vic Hershkowitz against San Francisco's pride and joy, Bullet Bob Brady. A meeting of two bangers, my type of players. Vic wisely brought his strength and tremendous one-wall ability to the four-wall court. This gave him a distinct advantage over the classical four-wall players of the day.
Ed, watch this for a second. Vic's overhand left to the ceiling, seen here, ushered in a new era in the offensive use of the offhand. One-wall handball relies on hook serves and domination of the front court. That's exactly what Vic's opponents had to contend with every time he walked on the four-wall court. Unlike the four-wallers of the day, who would have let this ball go to the back wall, Vic cut the ball off and passed Brady down the left with an overhead fly drive. Bob Brady was also a champion. I remember watching him play. His bullish and determined style was an intimidating factor to his opponents. Bob's powerful right hand and deadly backwall drives marked him as a perennial contender for the singles title. But today, Vic Hershkowitz prevails and moves on to the finals.
Ken Schneider serving to Vic Hershkowitz with the 1952 national singles title on the line. As the USHA brought in a new leadership of the sport of handball, Vic Hershkowitz introduced a new dimension to the play.
But Ed, look, even a legend like Vic makes us hackers feel better. Imagine double faulting in the finals of the national championship. But Hershkowitz quickly reasserts himself with a vicious right-hand pass which gets him back the serve. In this hotly contested battle, Ken Schneider, using all his experience and court savvy, moves Vic around the court and takes the advantage.
And the strategy worked as Schneider closed the gap toward the end of the first game. But a perfectly executed right-hand fly kill earns Vic the first game. Here at the beginning of the second game, the ace bandage on Vic's right leg is a result of the exhaustive play during the week and the intensity of this match. Ken's accurate shot making kept him in the game, but on this day, Vic's two-handed power and extraordinary serve takes command of the game and gives him another four-wall crown to add to his 49 title.
Our camera focuses on the 1957 AAU Nationals at the Olympic Club in San Francisco. On the way to the finals, Bob Brady had to take on 21-year-old Johnny Sloan. Sloan was the talk of the handball world when, at the tender age of 18, he won the YMCA National Doubles with veteran Jack Gordon.
But Brady was not to be denied as he defeated Sloan in two, going on to win the singles title in a thrilling three-game battle over Jim Jacobs. The very next year, the maturing Sloan will go on to achieve handball's Grand Slam by winning both the singles and doubles titles.
Ed, this is a real treat for me to see my old friend Bob Kendler walking on the court to compete for the Masters Championship. He's pictured here with legendary southpaw Frank Coyle. The team of Coyle and Kendler won numerous Masters titles during the 1950s. Their opponents that day were the Los Angeles club tandem of Alex Boiserie and Joe Shane, a Hall of Fame member himself.
The doubles finals matched the Chicago team of Johnny Sloan and Phil Collins against the Los Angeles duo of Jim Jacobs and southpaw Maury Singer. The combination of Sloan's court generalship and Collins' whip-like right hand made them the most feared team of the era. Johnny's pinpoint accuracy, together with Collins' shot-making, controlled the tempo of the match and kept Jim from taking charge.
Sloan and Collins were the reigning AAU doubles champions, having won the title at the New York Athletic Club the year before. They found the 22x44 courts at the Olympic Club just right for their style of play. You can see why Collins was such a feared right court player as he buries this right-hand kill. Collins once again shows his devastating power by flattening Maury Singer's serve and putting the side out.
Sloan and Collins were affectionately known as the Whiz Kids from Chicago. They represented, along with Jacobs, the new breed of handball players.
Sloan was known among handball players in singles competition as the Little Mechanic for the way he calculatingly and methodically moved the ball around the court. Many of the competitors that Johnny played against remarked that they thought they could actually hear Johnny thinking on the court.
Here in the 1957 AAU Nationals, Sloan and Collins score an impressive victory over Jim Jacobs and Maury Singer and add another doubles title to their spectacular record.
Here we are in the finals of the 1961 USHA Singles Championship at the Denver YMCA. It's a young Johnny Sloan at the height of his career, taking on the still dangerous Vic Hershkowitz. Let's listen to the live TV commentators call the action as it happened in one of the first ever TV broadcasts of handball.
Where the point was given to Sloan.
Thank you very much, Bob, for that explanation. Now then, Hershkowitz is in the service box. Receiver, Sloan. Over the shoulder. Beautiful control. You're seeing the best handball. Hand out. 19, playing 12. 19-12. Was Sloan on the service. Volley by Hershkowitz. Sloan playing. Nice kill by Hershkowitz. Nice recovery. And a kill by Sloan. By John Sloan. Serving. Nice placement. Nice placement. Hand out, and now Hershkowitz. 12-19. And Hershkowitz will try to put on a drive here. He shot it encouragement, of course. Point for Hershkowitz, and the fans would like to see him catch up here at 13-19. Second game. Sloan won the first game 21-10. Hershkowitz. Hershkowitz got the point. Awfully close to the vertex there. But hit the floor first. On the race. 15-19. Sloan.
Nice call, Vic. Hand out. 19, playing 15.
19-15. And John Sloan trying to win his third national championship. He gets the point. It's 20. It's the match championship point coming up. It's John Sloan. This could be the big one right here. Sloan using the seal.
Hit the railing. Hinder ball.
Hinder ball hit the railing.
20 serving and 19-15 receiving.
20-15. Sloan won the first one 21-10. All right. Hershkowitz ready to receive. Nice recovery. Really hooked out of there. Sloan. Beauty. Hershkowitz fighting for his life on this last point. Beautiful shot by Hershkowitz. Picked it up.
And he just wouldn't give up. That was all. That was the story of that last point.
Certainly earned the right to get back in there, didn't he?
15-30.
All right. 15-20. Hershkowitz serving. Sloan. Hershkowitz. And out. As John Sloan once again was able to move Hershkowitz around. Now Sloan in. Once again, championship point. 20-15. And a fight to get out of the way of that one.
With a perfectly placed back wall kill, Johnny Sloan annexes his third national singles championship.
And the new champion is John Sloan, 21-15.
In this rare footage at Palmer Park in Detroit, home of three-ball nationals, it is 1963, and Marty Decatur meets Lou Russo in the finals of the singles competition. The three-wall nationals had always been a stronghold for one-wall players because of their powerful overhand strokes and fly shooting ability. In that era, one-wall players like Vic Hershkowitz, with his 9 straight titles, Oscar Obert, Marty Decatur, Lou Russo, and Freddie Lewis dominated the three-wall championships. Watch as Lou Russo makes a fine get, only to have Decatur hit a perfectly placed fly drive.
The Palmer Park three-wall court was 22 feet wide and 44 feet to the long line, and 20 feet past that to the stands. Much of the play took place 50 to 60 feet from the front wall of the court. It was big. You really needed an arm to compete here.
Russo was the national juniors champion in 1960 and 1962. This is his first open singles finals, and although this was not his day, he will go on to win numerous singles and doubles three-wall titles. As Decatur aces Russo around the left wall, he wins his first of 5 singles championships to go along with his 6 three-wall doubles titles.
The St. Louis JCCA is the site of the 1964 four-wall nationals. In the doubles finals, Oscar and Ruby Obert of New York meet Johnny Sloan and Phil Albert of Chicago. Once again, Handball makes live broadcast television. Listen to the coverage.
Ender ball. Gotta move over, Oscar.
Oscar Obert called for a blocker, a hinder there. That's younger brother Ruby serving. Johnny Sloan moving up on that quick. They can taste that victory. And the national title, the All-American champion, if they can make one more point. Johnny Sloan and Phil Albert playing the famed Obert brothers, Ruby and Oscar.
1 down. 9, playing 20.
Now that's Oscar Obert serving. Returned by Johnny Sloan. Hit by Ruby Obert. There's no tomorrow for the Obert brothers now. This could be their last serve. Oscar playing a little bit more cautious than he usually does. There's Oscar. He missed it.
20, plays 9. You're playing for game point match.
All right, now this is the game point. Only the server can score. Only the server can score. And Sloan and Albert need 1 point for the All-America Championship of the doubles. That's all they need. They're at point right now. There's Johnny Sloan. They're 1 down. Only the server can score a point.
Johnny Sloan nails a right-handed fly kill and shows the handball world why he is one of the premier doubles players of all time.
And Phil Albert of Chicago, Illinois.
The Masters doubles competition in 1964 is a meeting of 4 all-time great legendary Hall of Famers. It's Ken Schneider and Gus Lewis of Chicago against Frank Lefty Coyle and Vic Hershkowitz. Schneider and Lewis won the first game, but are trailing at the end of the second game.
Great shot by Ken Schneider as he passed him along the wall.
Ball. 16-17.
Now 16-17. Lewis and Schneider trailing by 1. Won the first game in the best 2 of 3. 21-9 score the first.
17 up.
Ball game tied at 17. 21 to win it. Great return by Vic Hershkowitz.
Point.
19 playing 17.
The score is now Lewis and Schneider leading 19-17. They won the first game in the best 2 or 3 of this Masters doubles. Our score 21-9. They win this one, they are the champions. Notice the quick hands on lefty Coyle. He really has them.
20 playing 17.
Point now, they're at 20. One more point and they win it. You're seeing 4 of the great players the game of handball has ever known right now. All former champions.
Gus Lewis thrills the audience with superb shot making under pressure to run out the game and capture the championship.
40 over for the other, and it's over. Gus Lewis and Ken Snyder win the Masters doubles championship.
In 1964, the New York Athletic Club hosts the first ever World Championship in an 8-man round-robin singles competition. Jim Jacobs, the reigning national singles champion, takes on Bernie Pritchard of Canada. Charlie O'Connell, longtime AAU chairman and friend of handball, is calling the action with TV commentator Jack Whitaker.
Away against Bernie Pritchard of Canada. But Pritchard now takes over the serve. He's still alive.
9 playing 19. On the ball. Replay.
In the ball. Jimmy didn't have a fair shot at it.
It's 9-19.
There's a clever shot. Return the ball.
Got him, Bernie.
10 playing 19.
19-10. Pritchard still alive.
And out.
Beautiful shot.
But now
19 playing 10.
Jimmy Jacobs takes over the serve at 19-10 and a chance to run it out.
19 playing 10.
21 points game.
Point.
Jimmy mixes his serve like a pitcher in baseball.
Point. Let's go now.
You never know what to expect from him.
1 point left. Jimmy's at 20. And that's it. The 21st point, the game, and the first World Championship for Jimmy Jacobs defeating Bernie Pritchard of Canada.
It's 1967 in San Francisco, and Paul Hebert defends the singles crown against the Twin Cities' Bill Yambrick. This is a revenge match, as Yambrick had lost to Hebert the year before. Paul exploded on the handball scene with his thrilling singles title victory in Salt Lake City in '66. His smooth, swinging two-handed play and uncanny ceiling control from anywhere on the court kept his opponent constantly on the defensive. These skills must have been honed under the watchful eye of Sam Hebert, his father, and fellow Hall of Famer. Watch Paul strategically move the ball around the court and end the volley with a perfectly placed right-hand pass. Although remembered for his superb ceiling play, watch Paul drill this left court kill.
Paul Hebert enjoyed playing the Iron Man role, going both singles and doubles without losing the sharpness in his game. He dominated four-wall play from the mid-1960s to the early 70s, as he captured the crown in 1966, 67, 69, 70, and 71. Paul won the first game, and here in the second, he's moments away from winning his second singles title. Look at that championship caliber play.
Jambrick can only run down so many shots before a tremendously competitive Paul Hebert brings the match to a close. One of the most intriguing matches of all time. The scene, the colorful Avenue P courts in Brooklyn, New York. The competitors, Jim Jacobs, generally acknowledged as the greatest four-wall player of all time, versus the reigning one-wall national king, Steve Sandler. Unbelievably, Sandler is playing the match with only his left hand. Now you'll notice Sandler is able to hit his backhand strokes and still maintain his control and court position. No matter what Jacobs tries, Steve is able to move Jim from side to side, knowing that Jim's four-wall strokes would not enable him to keep the ball within the lines. You may find it of interest to know that shooting the film is musical legend Harry Chapin.
Let's watch this match between these two Hall of Famers. See why Steve Sandler is acclaimed as one of the greatest one-wall players of all time.
Steve Sandler easily wins this exhibition game, but 2 months later, Jim would reverse the game on a four-wall court, playing with his left hand only against Steve, and win in a similarly commanding fashion. '68 Nationals, Stuffy Singer versus Ray Nouveau, with Jim Jacobs calling the action.
Stuffy has reached the finals with classic poise, using the handball court much like his private stage. It's to be noted that the outstanding talents of players such as Billy Jambrick, Steve August, Marty Decatur, Paul Hebert, and Buzz Shoemate were also contesting this championship. But Ray Nouveau and Stuffy Singer alone remain undefeated. Let's pick up the action.
Plays 4. Place for 1. 20, plays 9.
Stuffy ends the first game with a classic kill, winning 21-9.
Ray Nouveau comes back to win the second, and here in the third, it's anybody's game.
Plays 13. Side out. 17, place 20. Place 17.
Duffy finally takes the championship, 21-18, with a perfectly timed trap kill. Duffy's father then charges into the court. Was there ever a greater moment for a handball father and son?
The 1968 AAU one-wall singles finals in Coney Island, New York, pitted Steve Sandler against Marty Decatur. The general consensus among one-wall experts was that Steve Sandler's overall court generalship would be the deciding factor in this finals competition. But the powerful serves and accurate kill shots of Decatur made this a very competitive match. Just the day before, these two competitors teamed together to win the doubles crown over the experienced New York Athletic Club duo, Carl and Ruby Obert, in 3 grueling games.
One wall is rarely seen outside of New York, so let's watch the different strategy. Notice how important control of the front court is in this fast-paced game. Watch Decatur use his free-swinging left to put away this fly drive. A trademark of Sandler's play is his stiff swinging left arm, which is remarkably effective in one-wall handball, particularly in the front court.
You are witnessing the aggressive nature of one-wall handball. Decatur pulled out the first game with his awesome serves. In one-wall play, points can be scored machine gun style because of the serve and shoot nature of the game. Here in the second, the outcome is still in doubt. Watch Decatur make this flat kill while diving into the crowd. Another ripping right hand by Decatur brings him 1 point from the title. An ace serve finishes out the game, match, and the 1968 one-wall championship.
In 1970, a much-publicized exhibition match of 4 Hall of Famers took place at the 92nd Street YMHA. The undefeated team of Jim Jacobs and Marty Decatur faced the monster duo of national singles champion Paul Hebert and Pat Kirby. Hebert was confident that with the shot-making Kirby as right-side support, they could be the first team to ever defeat Jacobs and Decatur. Pat Kirby, seen hitting this back wall kill, was known as the Weekend Warrior for his incredible success in winning 2- and 3-day weekend competitions over the greatest players of the era, including Hall of Famers Paul Hebert, Lou Russo, and Stuffy Singer.
Notice the distinctive Irish whip swing of Kirby and how it contrasted with the sidearm strokes of the other 3 players. Even though this is doubles play, it still comes down to left court action, which will dictate the outcome. Left court today means Jacobs versus Hebert once again.
After a sensational volley, watch Paul Hebert bury a left corner kill off the back wall. And Jacobs returns the favor with a right-handed rollout. Kirby's Irish whip relentlessly attacks, finally passing Decatur on the right. Watch this incredibly hard-fought volley.
We are fortunate that this rare footage exists of these 4 outstanding players in this memorable match. Championship caliber games, Jacobs and Decatur defeat Hebert and Kirby to maintain their unblemished record.
Never tell a handball player not to play against a wall. In 1971, 3 Hall of Famers traveled to Germany as part of an Air Force-sponsored tour. Jim Jacobs, Marty Decatur, Stuffy Singer, and their military escort, Captain Tom Vail, found an outdoor wall to play. It happened to be the dividing line between East and West Germany. The border guards warned them to stay away, but with gloves, handballs, and a lot of guts, the foursome found what they thought was a safe service zone and began to play. A half an hour into the game, Stuffy Singer hit the ball over the wall, and our 4 heroes ran for the getaway van, led by the cameraman. Consequently, there was no film of that action.
The Tropicana Hotel in Las Vegas hosted one of the biggest championship fields when 909 competitors met in the 1975 Nationals.
Many matches were held between midnight and 5 a.m. It's a mark of the players' stamina and endurance that they made it through the tournament. Here in the semifinals is menacing Dennis Hoflander taking on a young Nadi Alvarado fresh from numerous junior triumphs.
You'll notice the front wall camera captures the personality, concentration, and grim determination of the players. The Las Vegas crowd marveled at the midday shootout between these two aggressive champions.
Art, isn't it fun to watch Noddy at such a young age demonstrate so much ability and poise? In Dennis Hoflander, Noddy is taking on one of the most feared players of the day, capable of hitting a 38-foot kill shot with either hand.
Professional handball had just been introduced, with pro stops taking place across the country. Dennis Hoflander and Freddie Lewis took turns winning most of the competitions, and in the process, pushed each other to a higher level of play. Look at the incredible concentration as the camera's eye picks up every emotion and grimace.
In the years to come, Noddy's play will usher in a new style which takes the emphasis away from defense and the ceiling. The focus will become an all-out attacking and shooting game played below the waist. Art, typical of Alvarado's style, we see him go on the offensive on his return of serve and roll the ball out. Watch the expression on Dennis's face as he flattens the shot. With a blistering right-hand drive, Hoflander wins the match and goes on to face Freddie Lewis in the finals.
Here in the finals the following day, Dennis Hoflander has won the first game and is ahead 20-19, serving for the match and his first national singles championship. Let's listen to referee Stuffy Singer call the game.
Lewis serving. He trails 19-20. We're together at 20. Gentlemen, let's play ball. The score is 20 serving 20. Game point. Lewis serving. Tied again, 17-17, third game, National Professional Championship on the line. I have maybe a dozen times. Short ball.
Steady Freddie had the ability and patience to drive with either hand, forcing his opponents to constantly turn, keeping them on the defensive. He was the ultimate percentage player who rarely erred. Every player of the day had to contend with Freddie's incredible choice of shots.
Point. Nice call, Dennis. Jordan. Kill for his 19th point. Lewis now serving. 2 points to go. 19-17. Very good. Wow. Point! Spectacular volley. Timeout. Hoflander with Lewis leading 20-17. Game and match point. Lewis serving, leading 20-17. Game, match, National Professional Championship on the line.
In 3 hard-fought games, Fred Lewis fights off the challenge of Dennis Hoflander to win his 3rd national 4-wall title.
We now go to 1977 and the University of Texas for the annual Pro Doubles Championship. In the semifinals, Nadi Alvarado and Lou Russo meet the team of Freddie Lewis and Gordy Pfeiffer. Lewis and Pfeiffer won the first game, and here in the second are ahead 19-9. Thinking back to the great doubles teams like Sloan and Collins, Jacobs and Decatur, I have to include Lewis and Pfeiffer. I'd be hard-pressed to pick a winner if they were to compete, but I sure would have loved to see them match up. As Pfeiffer serves, let's watch this exciting action.
Talk about fierce competition. With these 4 men on the court, unless the ball rolls out, they'll keep the play alive and force their opponent to make the next shot even finer. Pfeiffer and Lewis close out this match and go on to defeat Terry Muck and Dennis Hoflander in the finals. This resounding victory clearly earns them a place as one of the great doubles teams of all time.
It's 1982, and Nadi Alvarado is serving Fred Lewis in the finals for the national title. You're seeing a spectacular volley with great drives and gets that ends with a beautiful 2-wall left corner kill from the left of Alvarado.
With deadly accuracy, Natty hits a perfectly executed right front corner fly kill to win the match and the championship.
Reversed, it came around the glass.
We're at the 1986 Nationals, and Vern Roberts, former four-wall and three-wall doubles champion, has dominated his bracket. He now finds himself facing the awesome task of battling Nadi Alvarado for the title. Let's listen to Freddie Lewis and Bo Belinsky as they call the action.
Game and match point, 20 serving 4.
20 serving 4.
Vern taking big chance there, shooting from deep court, but he made the shot.
4 serving 20.
He's at 4 serving 20.
A long way to come, Freddie.
Well, we've seen stranger things happen.
Well, that's true. I remember a match in Florida with 19-2, and another guy switching around, making it 21-19, then winning the match.
Who was that, Bo?
I believe that was Lou Russo playing against Terry Muck in 79 in Florida.
God, you got a hell of a memory. I can't remember back that far.
It was one of those matches, 19-2, you think you're going to win it, and Russo just let up, and then Muck couldn't miss a shot, and went on to beat him 21-19.
Alvarado, demonstrating his championship play, strokes another beautiful left corner kill to notch a record 8th national singles crown.
Nati Alvarado, number 8.
Pretty tough.
There you see the score is 21-15, 21-4. And I think that tells the story.
It's the tiebreaker in the 1990 Atlanta Nationals, and the 6'3" John Kendler has taken everything that Nadi Alvarado can dish out and has been equal to the task. The fast-paced two-fisted action is breathtaking, as the match's outcome is in doubt up to the final point.
Great rally. Johnny really ran Nadi with some tremendous drives. This kill almost defies description. Falling away off balance, yet somehow Nadi still manages to guide it right down the left wall. Again, Nadi was there, but was unable to punish John for what was basically a very poor service return. Nadi made a tremendous get on that return of serve, and from that point on he was in total control of the rally. John's second error off the Z serve. Game and match point, plays 7.
Natty takes his trademark climb up the front wall to punctuate this brilliant, hard-fought victory. What a fitting conclusion to 5 decades of championship play.
We have watched the excellence of Handball Hall of Famers, who are the finest players over the past half-century. The future of handball is in good hands. The current crop of talented young players are playing extraordinary handball with great skill. They're well on their way to becoming our future Hall of Famers. I'm Art Linkletter, inviting you to visit the Handball Hall of Fame at the USHA headquarters in Tucson, Arizona, and see handball history on display.
I'm Ed O'Neill, thanking you for your support in purchasing this video. And as we close the book on this presentation, let us not forget our common goal and purpose: to beat leukemia in our lifetime and to raise money for needed research. We also want to remember those who waged the battle against this dreaded disease. The memory of Jim Jacobs, Bob Brady, Art Decker, Hillary Hufford, and others who have lost this fight should be etched in our hearts. Please commit yourself to this cause. Give generously to the Jim Jacobs Leukemia Research Fund and help the Leukemia Society meet its goal of a cure for leukemia by the year 2000. Thank you.